An award-winning play comes to the big screen. Hello everyone and welcome to Movie Reviews by Josh. My name is Josh Terry. Today we're going to talk about Fences, which is a new movie based on an old play directed by Denzel Washington. Washington also plays the lead role of Troy, who is a garbage man who works in Pittsburgh back in the late 1950s. And he's kind of a working class hero. He's kind of one of these guys that has a whole lot to say, and a lot of it is really centered around why the world is kind of a crazy place that doesn't really understand the common man. Now we meet him as he's finishing up one of his work shifts and goes back home. And most all of the movie is based in and around his Pittsburgh home. We meet his wife, Rose, who's played by Viola Davis, as well as some of his family members, one of his best friends. And the essence of the movie is the conversations that they have as they're dealing with their different day-to-day issues. Now, if you didn't know it already going in, you will quickly pick up on the fact that this film is based on a play. August Wilson did the play back in the 1980s. It was on Broadway. Washington himself was in the stage version. There was a revival of it back in 2010, and he and Viola Davis, his co-star, both won Tony Awards for their performances. So you know that they are coming from a place of confidence, that they know what they're doing and they know their way around these characters. And they are really incredible characters. This is a real special performance from Denzel Washington. It's the kind of thing that it'd be very surprising if there wasn't some award recognition going on with these guys in a couple months when the Oscars roll around. And because this film is based on a play, there is a very different and a very unique style. The performances are tweaked a little bit. You can sense that they were originally designed for a stage performance, but they're still being portrayed on the big screen, even though they're sitting in a real-life backyard instead of a stage. They're still being presented as if their audience was present. The delivery is kind of given the same way. There's just something you can kind of feel about it that seems a little bit different. It's still very entertaining. You kind of have to know going in, I think, or understand that, because it does, in some ways, you're kind of waiting for the action to get moving, because in a traditional movie, the action does move along at a much quicker pace. Whereas because this was based on a play, it's much more deliberate. It's much more gradual. The characters are kind of settling in, and they're talking about life. And so what really makes this film stand out, though, and what I think really jumps out about Denzel Washington in his performance here, is that this is something that we've seen him do before. We can see his mannerisms, we can see his character and his style emote from this character, Troy. But what really brings it to the surface is the story that takes a man who is very self-righteous, who really feels like he is, again, kind of the working class hero. He's the one with the moral high ground. And yet, as these conversations and as these interactions progress throughout the movie, his character is chipped away piece by piece until towards the third act, and of course I won't give anything away here, we find out that he has substantial and significant flaws. And the movie itself becomes a tremendously powerful character sketch of a very human being. And as good as Washington is, Viola Davis has a couple of opportunities and a couple of key scenes that really are incredible and almost steal Washington's thunder. So if you're a fan of acting, if you're a fan of the play itself, if you're a fan of just good stories, Fences is definitely one that I would recommend. The translation from play to screen is a little obvious and does slow things down a little bit, and so I would still wind up giving this a 3.5 stars out of 4. But still a really fantastic film, and again, one I think that we're going to be hearing about come Oscar time. Fences is rated PG-13 almost exclusively for language. It's not even so much profanity as it is that the language, the use of racial epithets is pretty frequent, but it's being used in kind of a casual and not really an abrasive manner. So we want to keep that in mind if that's something you're sensitive to. Other than that, it's really just kind of the subject matter, what they're talking about, that gives the movie its rating. So thanks as always for watching. Be sure to subscribe and keep your notifications on so that you can see our new videos as soon as they come up. And tell us what you think about Fences. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this movie. Be sure you can put your 2 cents in the comments below. We'd also like to give a special thanks and shout out to our sponsor, Rockagator. Waterproof backpacks, a fine item. You can click on the link below to learn more about how you can get one of those. And keep your important items dry next time you go walking through the rain. Thanks, everyone.